You're watching WBFF Box 45 in Baltimore. Your clear choice.
Duckpin Magic is brought to you by Columbia Kitchen and Bath. Superior work at competitive prices.
Hold on to your seats. The fun and excitement of Duckpin bowling is rolling your way. It's time for Duckpin Magic.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Greenway Bowl East and Duckpin Magic. I'm Mike Sullen. Joe Rainier today will be on the show, but he'll be bowling instead of commentating as usual. And I'll be joined by Frank Applestein, former Pro Tour director for 10 years, as we continue to watch the men of the DPBA here on Duckpin Magic. Back in a moment.
Accidents happen. That's why across Maryland, in Baltimore and Washington, D.C., Science and Kirk have law offices with their free injury hotline. So please drive defensively, don't drink and drive, and wear your seatbelts, because an accident can come out of nowhere. Call Science and Kirk's free injury hotline 7 days and nights a week. Science and Kirk. If you have a phone, you have a lawyer.
What in this world can you get for $39.99? At America's Best, new patients get contact lenses or 2 pair of eyeglasses for $39.99, including the eye exam. America's Best contacts and eyeglasses. Daily wear soft contacts or 2 pair of eyeglasses, $39.99, including the eye exam. Now.
You'll think I'm crazy, but I like cleaning. Sometimes 100 things I do at work don't satisfy me like one clean kitchen.
Spick and Span liquid.
No one over my shoulder, just me and this.
It actually wipes away crayon.
When I take my Spick and Span and I get that floor so clean, I just stand back and look.
It cleans kitchen floors better than regular leading liquids.
This isn't my whole life, but it is my clean kitchen.
The better clean of Spick and Span.
Spick and Span, you're my kind of clean.
This is Maaco's Ambassador Paint Service. Just $169. We professionally prepare your car. We chemically clean it, surface sand it, and give it a high-grade oven-baked enamel finish from over 7,000 colors, all backed in writing in over 400 centers coast to coast. Maaco's Ambassador Paint Service, the best value for your money. Just $169. If you want high-quality work for this kind of price, you better get Maaco.
Check out today's special used car values from Fox Chevrolet Timonium.
It's the end of the month at the Discount Center. We've priced these cars to go. A 1989 Mustang LX convertible, full power, including air conditioning. It's $10,995. Bring us your taxes and tags. You drive it home today, $247 a month. Or a 1987 Honda Prelude. It's $84.95. Bring us your taxes and tags. You drive it home today, $196 a month. Stop in for the end of the month sale at the Discount Center. Fox of Timonium, 667-6666.
Columbia Kitchen and Bath would like to thank everyone who sent us those nice letters about our service. But at Columbia Kitchen and Bath, it's more than a service. It's a craft of quality workmanship and product at an affordable price with low monthly payments. Columbia Kitchen and Bath has award-winning designers that can make your home more efficient, beautiful, and valuable. Call Columbia Kitchen and Bath at 720-1216 and take advantage of our spring promotional sale. Columbia Kitchen and Bath. Who knows, maybe someday you'll send us a letter. Call 720-1216.
Drinking and boating. It's one accident you can't walk away from.
It's becoming like a highway out here. Funny though, people who would never drink and drive think it's fine to party on our waterways with alcohol. Truth is, it's more dangerous to drink behind this wheel. Boating is stressful. Constant motion, noise, sun and wind cause fatigue and reduce reaction time. Safe boating requires a clear head, an observant eye, and a steady hand. Take some advice from me, the sober skipper. Choose to have that drink at dockside when safely anchored for the night. Let's make safer waterways in Maryland.
Our two bowlers, Mike Trepanier on the right in the blue shirt, Ron Pelletier on the left and in the red shirt, ready to bowl. Our first match of 3 today on Duckpin Magic. And as I mentioned at the top, joined by former Pro Tour director Frank Appelstein. Frank, you were director of the tour for some 10 years, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to the microphones here in the show. Sitting in for my colleague Joe Rainier, who will get a chance to see a little bit later in this show, actually show his stuff out on the lanes.
Certainly a pleasure to be here. Having run the Pro Tour at Greenway for 10 years consecutively, and of course, we always draw a fine field of players, and these finalists are certainly going to do the job today.
Mike Trepanier has one Pro Tour victory to his credit, as you see with the star on the back. That's symbolic of the Pro Tour win. It was at Hagerstown, I believe, in 1987. Multiple winners that year at that stop because of the TV format and the way that it was structured. Doesn't detract from the win, however. He got it. Just barely, but he did get it.
That's all you have to do is enough to turn the pin over.
Mike had a very fine qualifying score of 1602. That's 1,602 pins in 10 games, 160 average. That's a fine bowling for anybody. In fact, the house itself presented 5 or 6 bowlers over the 1,600 mark in this year's tournament event. Whoa.
We have contrasting styles. Not only are the two bowlers, one left-handed, the other one right-handed. Mike Trepanier is a pin bowler. That is, he looks at the pins through the entire delivery. And Ron Pelletier looks at the floor. So we'll see which of the two
styles prevails here. Huh? Should talk a little bit about Ron Pelletier. He had outstanding qualifying.
Leaving up the baby split 310. Ideally, he would try and get the ball to the right of the 3-pin.
Oh.
Unfortunately, too full.
Yeah, he did, but it was, as you mentioned, too full. But Ron had the single highest game in the qualifying out of 170 bowlers who bowled 10 games. So that's 1,700 games, 251.
And not only that, he had another 200 game during the course of that 10-game qualifier and wound up with a super score of 1632.
Yeah, he gets locked in and really goes. Tall, lanky guy, and delivers the ball from way over on the left side, and most of the time he's around the head pin, and if he is, he's usually in pretty good shape.
Nice conversion of the 4-7-8, giving him a spare.
Ron's been on TV, as has Mike, so both are not first-timers, and they're going right at it early to try to establish something here in this match.
An interesting thing about Mike Trepanier, he was telling me earlier that once he got interested in bowling, he bought those set of bowling balls and has used them ever since. Has not changed equipment at all.
Certainly provides consistency in your game, doesn't it?
No question about it. A lot of players do vary their bowling equipment, but Mike does not. It's the hand that's more important than the bowling ball. A little too full. Chop the middle out. Very, very difficult conversion. Actually, he would just try to work his wood. Fine shot. Fine shot.
Very nice.
Nothing but the 2-pin left.
Well, for his efforts in the Duckpin game, Mike is going to be honored coming up very soon.
Yeah, my understanding is on June 9, 1990, the Connecticut State Duckpin Hall of Fame will be honoring him for his years of top playing ability that is shown in the area, and he's certainly well deserving.
You see how far left Ron Pelletier lets the ball go. He's almost bowling cross alley. He's starting way to the left. He's a left-hander. Get another shot of this, Frank. Watch, maybe describe what. See how close to the left-hand channel he is as he lets the ball go.
Yes, you see that quite often in left-handers in both duck pins and 10 pins, where they work across a lot of boards, and it really causes a tremendously powerful shot into the head pin. Unfortunately, again, too full. You want to hit the head pin somewhat left of it or somewhat right of it.
Yeah, and pick up the wood here. 3 with the first ball. We'll try to get the other 2 to get the full 10 in this frame. Looks like he's having a little trouble with the delivery, the approach, because he seems to be sliding just a little bit too much.
Quite often in this situation is the adrenaline is flowing too fast. Too much excitement. Making the footwork too fast, and then causing you have to stop
brakes
quickly.
on,
yeah. It's so I think it's really his fault right now. He'll slow that down.
Nice spare for Mike Trepanier there.
The old bread line, as we used to call it. Well, after 6 boxes, we have Mr. Pelletier leading by 11 pins. However, Mike is on a spare count, so he can reduce that considerably.
No, he just knocked it down by 9.
Yes, sir.
Leaves the 5-pin. Probably the best ball that Mike has thrown here thus far in the match.
No question about it.
Got it.
Puts the pressure now back on Ron, who will need a mark to maintain his 2-pin lead.
Yeah, the bowlers fill out information sheets. Sort of an interesting statistic. Ron's age is 26. Says he's been bowling for some 23 years.
That's an early start. There's no question about it. And he's been a member of the Pro Tour 2 years. An active tournament player for the last 5.
Got it. Ty's previous finish was 4th. I believe that was at Town Hall Lanes during a Pro Tour event there that was televised and seen here on Duckpin Magic. See Ron and see how he scopes out the pins. Yep.
Now let's see if he can master the shot that Mike made a few minutes ago, the red line.
Well, Frank, here you're aiming at your object pin. Are you aiming at the 1 pin and hoping to hit it either side like that?
Yes, sir. But he chose, I think, the better route, which would be right between the 1 and 3 pin.
Okay.
And so he followed what Mike Trepanier did.
Well,
both getting good results.
And both coming up with marks in their 2 frames. And now Mike Pelletier, Trepanier won't get up.
This is a shot that his opponent had earlier. The baby split, the 310. Unfortunately, Ron was unable to make it. Let's see what his opponent can do. Made it. Ooh.
No, he did make it. You were right.
The difficult way.
Yeah. Usually when you hit the front pin, it's got enough to deflect it into the 10 pin.
Yes, sir.
But that time he hit it maybe a little too thin, kicked it off the pad, and it came all the way across the lane to knock it down.
Well, we have a dead even match, both having marks in the 7th box.
Ooh.
Leaving the 6 pin. Mike should have no problem with that because he is essentially a little bit left to right bowler. He would have more problem with the 4 pin than the 6 pin.
See the ritual where he lays the hand out and then puts the ball on top. Keep that hand flat, right, so the delivery is straight and true.
Yeah, so he comes straight up underneath the ball. Now the pressure's back on Ron Pelletier. He likes it. Leaving up the 5-8. two-pinner. And after 7 boxes, 1 pin separates the bowlers with Mike Trepanier ahead. Ron will have to make this mark to stay right with him. And he does. They're matching mark for mark.
Ron's league average high is 152, high 3-game set is 583, and his high single set yesterday in the qualifying of 251.
He likes that one also. 10 pin.
He's starting to warm up now. You can see that he's starting to find the range.
Right. Notice he's not having problem with the footwork. He's now got himself under control.
Probably overcame the nerves that you were talking about and slowed the delivery down maybe just a little bit. Well, that was close. He slid that time and picked up the front foot. Otherwise, he definitely would have fouled.
And here we go.
So we have a great match between Pelletier and Trepanier, both putting marks on the board. And how about that for a strike for Mike Trepanier?
First strike for either bowler and at the right place. And going into the 10th box, there is a 2-pin lead for Mike Trepanier. He also has an extra ball, having the strike count to Ron Pelletier's 1 extra count ball for the spare. This is going right down to the wire.
Both bowlers have completed 9 frames. We move into the 10th rather, with Mike Trepanier on lane 61 here at Greenway Bowl. Looking for the double. Ooh.
That was a very high hit, but good revolutions on the ball. Left up the the 2-pin. Shouldn't have any problem with that. Definitely is going to need it, the way this match is going.
Stays down and just does catch it on the left-hand side. And so he will get the 3rd ball in the 10th frame to count on the mark.
Right. He actually would like to get an 8 count. Excuse me, a 9 count would force Ron to throw a doubleheader, a 9 count.
Well, let's see what happens. Mike Trepanier, he's there, and he's got the 9 count.
Okay, now, what that means is unless...
And maybe more. He's going to wait to see that pin stop rolling around.
Nice 158 game.
Mike Trepanier, 158. And here comes Ron Pelletier.
Must throw 2 strikes.
All right.
Otherwise, he loses.
First ball, that's not a strike. Mike Trepanier is the winner, and that's it. Yeah, Ron's a little bit disappointed.
A little full on the head pin, but
it will turn out to be a very close match by the time he's
got 142 right now with 1 ball to go.
And so Mike Trepanier comes up a winner, 158-143 over Ron Pelletier, and Mike Trepanier faces off against Joe Rainier when we come back on Duckpin Magic right after this.
This is it. It's the final 4 days of the gigantic parking lot sale at Value City Furniture. Our tents are jammed. We've just received truckloads of new merchandise shipments, so we've reduced everything to record-breaking vinyl blowout prices. Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, dinettes, sofas, recliners, tables, lamps, and pictures. It all must be sold this weekend regardless of cost or loss. Save 50, 60, even 70% off. Bargain hunters, don't let time run out on you, because once it's gone, it's gone. The final 4 big days of the gigantic parking lot sale at Value City Furniture.
Sometimes I start cleaning and can't stop. You know what gets me going? The smell of pine. It just pulls me along.
Spick and Span Pine.
Especially when it cleans like you wouldn't believe.
It wipes out tough soap scum.
I get that tub looking like it hasn't seen a bath in its life.
In fact, Spick and Span cuts through better than other leading pines.
You know, it's weird, but when I get everything humming in here, my life goes better out there.
The better clean of Spick and Span Pine.
Spick and Span, you're my kind of pine.
I love Baskin-Robbins.
Baskin-Robbins Sundays, floats, and shakes. You'll love them with our ice cream. You'll love them with our frozen yogurt. Now there's more to love us for.
Check out today's special used car values from Fox Chevrolet Timonium.
End of the month truck specials, we've got them this morning for you at the Discount Center. A 1988 Isuzu Trooper 4x4. It's $86.43. You bring us your taxes and tags, you drive it home today, $199 a month. Or a 1987 Dodge Dakota V6 pickup truck. It's $54.95. You bring us your taxes and tags, you drive it home today, $127 a month. Stop in and see us this morning at the Discount Center. Fox of Timonium, 667-6666.
Being cool, you'll find, is a state of mind. A refreshing attitude when things get hot. Cool is all you got. Doing it country cool. Mountain Dew. So chill on out when the heat comes on. With the cool, smooth Mountain Dew. Doing it country cool. Doing it country cool.
Imagine this bathtub is the Chesapeake Bay, and this child is a Maryland boater. It's no accident that pollution threatens our waterways.
Joe Rainier and Mike Trepanier will face off, our second of 3 matches here on Duckpin Magic. And we'll see Joe Rainier in action in just a moment. But first, Mike Trepanier, fresh off that 15-pin win over Ron Pelletier. And in keeping with Joe's theory of making your opponent bowl first so that you finish first and put the pressure on them, he has made Mike Trepanier bowl first. So at least he subscribes to his own theories, Frank.
Yes.
Ooh.
His thoughts are quite simply, make the other man bowler lead off. If he does not mark, and I do, I have him under a
tremendous
lot of pressure.
advantage. Yeah, you have a tremendous advantage at that point. Nice 9 after throwing the second ball through the hole. And here's Joe Rainier. You don't usually see him during the course of the Duckpin Magic shows. You usually hear a lot of him. And for the second time in the last 6 months or so, we've been able to see Joe during a tournament. See if he can make the adjustments out on the lane that he talks about making here behind the microphone. Get a good look at Joe, who qualified with 15-11. Nice try there.
Again, we have Joe Rainier is a spot bowler, and Mike is not. Pretty stroke. When he's stroking, he bowls. When he cuts the delivery off, he knows he's in a lot of trouble. When he reaches through the ball out over the line.
He bowled well in the qualifying. He had a high of 194, which was his high game, and put enough other high games of 170, 177 in there to qualify.
Good extension there. Joe's game is the release and extension. When he does it, he bowls. When he doesn't, he knows he's in a lot of trouble.
Ooh, slid by on the right side.
Come back, try and get 10. Always practice with that third ball. It becomes very important. A little trouble there, dribbled it.
Yep, dropped it a little early, and no, he's not going to be too happy about that. So in steps Mike Trepanier, 38 years old, winner of 1 Pro Tour. He's got a high 3-game set of 557, high single of 246. Just missed the head pin there.
Actually, it's 4 balls in a row that Mike has thrown. 3 in the first box and 1 here, and that's got to be disconcerting when you throw 4 in a row and miss the head pin. So now he's got to come back and hit the head pin, and he hasn't done it in the first 4 swings.
Well, if he hits the head pin here, it means a spare. He's got it that time.
Chose the right time to do it. Right now we have a tie match. However, Mike has the extra count ball.
Waiting in the wings. Sorry, Frank, is Roy Kocheski Jr. He'll be facing off the winner of this particular match between Joe Rainier and Mike Trepanier.
Leaving up the 5-8.
The winner of this week's foursome on the show will join John Owens, Peter Pierce, and Kurt Johnson next week on Duckpin Magic as we continue to eliminate bowlers in the search for a winner here at the 1990 Greenway Bowl Miller Lite Classic.
You mentioned 4 flamethrowers in the next show.
I'll see who joins them here. Actually, of any of the remaining bowlers in this show, Roy Kochevsky, Joe Rainier, or Mike Trepanier, none of those people are really what we would classify as a flamethrower.
No.
So they'll have a divergent style from the other 3.
They're more of what I call strokers. They stroke the ball. Good swing. Ooh, a little thin on the front one.
Joe's having a little trouble getting untracked here. Did start off very well in the head-to-head competition earlier in the day, where he won 3 in a row and then lost his last 2. So he has had some trouble in the last couple of games putting it together, and that's really held over right here into the 4th frame.
You sort of lose momentum when you do that. You lose a couple in a row, even though you make the finals, and you're sort of now wondering, can I get it going again? Having extension problems, and he knows it. Still early in the match, but he definitely would like to make one so he doesn't fall too far behind. Ooh, very unfortunate.
Joe doesn't make excuses, but this morning he said, well, I asked him what happened. You won 3 in a row, you lost 2. He said, well, I woke up and started thinking about what I was doing out there. So count of 9 for Joe in that frame.
The mind plays tricks on you in this game. There is no opponent. It is better to bowl the one ball and another ball and make no relationship to what's happening.
Mike Trepanier working on the mark in the 3rd. He's got a beautiful ball and puts the first strike of the matchup on the board. And that was a beauty. We had talked about how he had missed the head pin several times, Frank. That time grabbed the head pin and knocked them all into the pit.
And after 4 boxes, he has a 20-pin lead plus the first 2 balls on this next box, which will count to be added to his 20-pin lead.
Ooh, boy, so close to a double there. He will count 9 and try to come back and pick up the 10-pin here.
If he does, that would give him a 30-pin lead.
Nope. Toughest pin, of course, for a right-hander to pick up is that 10-pin. They're got to stay down and extend out and reach out for the pin like that.
Well, Joe is 29 pins down after 4 boxes, and now is the time to get moving. Your intent to get into this match.
He's got a smile on his face, though. I'm sure he's thinking to himself, I've got to get it going here.
You like that one?
Best ball he's thrown. And he'll need to pick up the 10-pin here to put a mark on the board, get himself back in the match. Mike Trepanier leaving the frame open last frame. Giving a little breath of air, and he takes advantage of it. Well, now that he's got that one out of the way, move on to the 6th frame. As you see there on lane 61 here at Greenway Bowl. Greenway Bowl East, the largest duck pin facility in the world, Frank, and we've got 68 lanes of duck pins. In this tournament, they were filled to capacity with nearly 300 men and women pro bowlers.
The best in duck pin bowling.
Take out 7 there, and Joe was hoping that one more would have gone down to give him a little bit easier spare break opportunity.
Right. Ideally, he'll try and place the ball between the 3 and 6 pin and slide the 3 pin over to the 4 pin. Let's see what he does. He doesn't like it.
He didn't like it. He came around a little bit on the ball and left it wide right. overcorrected and leaves himself with a 62 after 6.
Mike Trempeneer has 76 after 5. So this would really be a good box for him tomorrow. Double pinochle. 2, 3, 4, 6. You think in terms of wood with a shot like this, although you hit a couple, you never know. I think he might have taken a shot at that.
Yep, I think he was trying to slide the
3 over.
Yep. Those of you just joining me today and the show, Frank Applestein, former Pro Tour director of the DPBA for some 10 years. 23-pin lead after 6 frames for Mike Trepanier. Frank, at the time that you were an active Pro Tour director and now, is there any difference between the bowlers themselves? Joe and I have talked about the improvements in the actual the pins and the pin decks and those kind of things which have made the scoring higher. But what about the bowlers? Are they any different now?
Well, the good ones that were around when I was around and are still playing, like Swede, they're still top players. We have a new
Swede
group
Lavers, right,
that are coming on, making their presence known. Our next match will see one, a real potential great player, Roy Krzyzewski Jr., who will be trying to win not only the match, 2 tours in a row.
That's right. He won the previous Pro Tour at Tewksbury, Wamasett Bowl.
That's only been done 3 times in our 27-year history. Difficult to do.
Done in 1989 by Barry Egolf of Baltimore area. Joe's really having a hard time now. He's really overcompensating. He's leaving the ball out right and then trying to pull it left, and that happens when you get behind in a match. And I think what he's got to do is go back to basics and say, hey, just throw the ball down the lane and see what happens. Just trying to get that good stroke, as you call it. Trailing by 25 after 7.
It's not impossible if he can get it going, but right now it's...
He does need a mark here, though. He's running out of time. Ah, there you go.
I think the crowd felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
And did you notice the sigh of relief on his face? He might come back and throw another one.
Yeah, he might.
Relaxation is the key in this game.
And we'll see what Mike Trepanier does. If Mike leaves him an opening, Joe may want to step through and take advantage of it, and that could be it.
1-5, chop.
He's got to concentrate on picking up some wood here.
Right.
This could be the open door that Joe Rainier was looking to step through and take advantage of.
Good 7.
Yep. Be happy with that after the second ball. 102 to 80 plus 2 balls for Joe Rainier coming up.
Well, it's time to do it, Joe. Here comes Mike.
Mike Trepanier bowling the 9th frame. Oh, nice ball coming back after having a tough frame.
Try and forget what's history. Can't do anything about what you just did.
No, he's got to do that again here to pick up the 5-pin and put a mark up on the board in the 9th frame, because he'll take a seat and then Joe Rainier will bowl 9 and 10, working on the strike. He's got it. So Mike Trepanier opened the door and then tried to shut it. We'll see what Joe does here in the 9th and 10th. Yep.
Five, 6, 7, and he must make this shot. Oh, unless he decides to throw a triple in the last box.
Joe on the 3rd ball here to try to pick up some wood. 97 after 9, and he'll move into the 10th frame, and
he will definitely need a doubleheader without a doubt.
He trails
have any chance at all.
112 plus to 97. There it is. He's smiling to himself because he's saying, "This is such an easy game. Why don't I just go ahead and do this thing?" You see, he just pointed over here.
He's got a chance if he throws a double.
No. He just did. Well, now he's nice and loose, and things are going his way. Let's see what happens here. He's
got now 117 plus one more ball.
He can put Mike Trepanier on the.
He can. If Mike has
good
a
fill and
box.
Yeah. Yep.
121.
Good finish for Joe Rainier. As
well, only disaster can stop Mike, but
Mike's got to stay behind the foul line, deliver the ball,
and don't hit anything right on the nose.
Right, and because he has 112 plus right now.
5 automatically wins. He's got it. He automatically.
Well, he got one
7
more
count
to add onto the count, so he's got a 7 count. 119, 126, and so Mike Trepanier will move on to face Roy Kochevsky Jr., just waiting the final count here. Count 2 more. I can finish with a possible 129 here with a pin. He's got it. And he wins his second match on Duckpin Magic, 129-121 over Joe Rainier. He'll go on to face Roy Kochevsky Jr. Frank Applestein and I will be back with more Duckpin Magic right after this.
Check out today's special used car values from Fox Chevrolet Timonium.
Here's some more end-of-the-month specials for you this morning at the Discount Center. A 1987 Buick Skyhawk, full power with air conditioning. It's $54.95. Bring us your taxes and tags. You drive it home today, $127 a month. Or a 1986 Chevy Cavalier station wagon, full power with air conditioning, $39.95. Bring us your taxes and tags. You drive it home today, $110 a month. These cars are priced to go today. Stop in to see us this morning at the Discount Center. Fox of Timonium, 667-6666.
Columbia Kitchen and Bath would like to thank everyone who sent us those nice letters about our service. But at Columbia Kitchen and Bath, it's more than a service. It's a craft of quality workmanship and product at an affordable price with low monthly payments. Columbia Kitchen and Bath has award-winning designers that can make your home more efficient, beautiful, and valuable. Call Columbia Kitchen and Bath at 720-1216 and take advantage of our spring promotional sale. Columbia Kitchen and Bath. Who knows, maybe someday you'll send us a letter. Call 720-1216.
Eastern Manufacturing announces the grand opening of our new Baltimore factory superstore, and we're celebrating with unheard-of savings on every item in stock. Pools, spas, chemicals, and accessories. Now's the time to buy. Save on the area's largest selection of factory direct pools, complete 24-foot packages, only $977. 15-foot packages, just $697. With over 1,000 to choose from, now's the time to buy. Call 1-800-2SAVE-65 for directions, and hurry to the grand opening sale going on now at Eastern Manufacturing, Baltimore's pool and spa factory superstore.
Sometimes I start cleaning and can't stop. You know what gets me going? The smell of pine. It just pulls me along.
Spick and Span Pine.
Especially when it cleans like you wouldn't believe.
It wipes out tough soap scum.
I get that tub looking like it hasn't seen a bath in its life.
In fact, Spick and Span cuts through better than other leading pines.
You know, it's weird, but when I get everything humming in here, my life goes better out there.
The better clean of Spick and Span Pine.
Spick and Span, you're my kind of pine.
It's becoming like a highway out here. Funny though, people who would never drink and drive think it's fine to party on our waterways with alcohol. Truth is, it's more dangerous to drink behind this wheel. Boating is stressful. Constant motion, noise, sun and wind cause fatigue and reduce reaction time. Safe boating requires a clear head, an observant eye, and a steady hand. Take some advice from me, the sober skipper. Choose to have that drink at dockside when safely anchored for the night. Let's make safer waterways in Maryland.
If you don't know...
I was very skeptical, but I'm not now.
...about the new generation system.
And in 3 months, I could see the difference in it.
And how it may be the best thing ever to happen to your thinning hair.
I don't have to push the hair into place and make it something it isn't.
Then call for this information.
It definitely gives you a better feeling about yourself.
The call is free. New generation.
It works.
It's really great.
It's powerful.
Hi, I'm Lyle Wagoner. If you haven't heard about the new generation system and what it can do for your thinning hair, then call this toll-free number and get free information on the product that has helped millions. Just listen.
I had more body in my hair after a few months of using New Generation than I'd had since I was a kid.
In 6 months, it was thickening back up.
I have found an answer.
Will the new generation system for thinning hair work as well for you? There's only one way to find out. Call for this free information now.
Roy Kochevsky Jr. and Mike Trepanier facing off in our final match on Duckpin Magic today. The winner will advance to next week's show and continue in the hunt for a DPBA Pro Tour title. Roy has decided to let Mike Trepanier go first once again. Mike won, of course, out of that position just last match against Joe Rainier.
I was talking to Roy about that earlier. He too has the same philosophy as Joe. We'll see if it works to his advantage.
When he gets up, we'll talk a little bit about him, but he has been a bowler. He's been on a roll.
A little bit too full on the 3-pin, picking it clean off, unfortunately leaving up the 6-10.
Well, I would think that if Mike wants to have an opportunity to win this match, he's going to have to put up more than 129 pins against Roy Kochevsky Jr. as Roy steps in. Just 23 years of age, but he has some impressive numbers to talk about, doesn't he, Frank?
Yes, he was the leading qualifier yesterday, rolling 10-game series of 16, 47, 106.
Got it.
64 average, worth $200 for being high qualifier, and had a high single of his life yesterday during the tournament, 247.
Well, patience pays off when pins are rolling around on the deck, as you see some of the crowd rolling in to the stands here at Greenway Bowl East, watching the top male bowlers in the country going at it. Well, how about a double to start with? Well, you talked about that in the last match. You make your opponent go first, you try to throw a mark. In this case, he throws a double, as we see the pins go down for Roy Kochevsky Jr.
That could definitely put a lot of pressure on your opponent.
How about that?
What an answer.
Well, Joe and I have never seen a 200 game bowled while we've been able to tape the TV show in the last 3 years. Maybe this time we're off to the right start. This has been a house in which it's lent itself to a number of strikes in a row.
Right.
Roy had 8 in that 247 game. He had an open frame in the first, rolled off 8 strikes, and had an open game in the 10th. How about a double right back at you? Wow, what a match. What a start to this one.
Well, Mike, you haven't had any. Maybe we can have 2.
Yeah. Love to show people that 200 game is possible here in Duckpin. Come out to the bowling centers, you can see it bowled. It's bowled. I want to give people an impression it's frequent, but it's done on a regular basis, and unfortunately we've just never been able to show it on TV. But both bowlers off to a start which could lend itself that way. And Roy Kochevsky Jr. looking to pick up his 3rd straight mark here in this match. Ooh, missed it.
Those of you that are watching the show, obviously Roy is also a complete spot bowler.
Very smooth on delivery and all.
Interesting note that both Roy and Mike bowl against each other in league play at T-Bow Lanes. Roy's father is a co-owner of.
For those of our viewers in the Baltimore, Maryland area, we should mention T-Bow Lanes up in Newington, Connecticut, where Roy works. He's also now a co-manager of another lanes, Cheshire Lanes in Cheshire, Connecticut. So he's around the bowling game quite a bit.
That was the baby split on the left side, the 2-7. More difficult for Roy because his ball works from left to right. Those are, I would call, a backup ball.
Well, 2 open frames after starting with the double. It's got 68 after 4.
Okay, Mike is right in the match. Right in this match.
Mike will count here on his first strike with this ball. How about a triple?
All right.
Well, we said Mike was going to have to put up some more pins on the board to win in this match, and I guess he sort of knew that himself, as he was open in the first frame and has rolled off 3 in a row.
He now has a 1-pin lead plus the first ball that he throws here as far as the third box. But he's still stringing them, and that's what counts.
Score adds up quickly when you start stringing strikes together. It is, as Joe's mentioned many times, a powerful scoring weapon in the duckpin game. And here he goes, looking for 4 in a row. He's got it. A 4-bagger for Mike Trepanier. As we take a look again, the 7-pin was reluctant, but it finally went down late. Here's Roy Kochevsky with the pressure put right back on him. Well, good ball, good result. Leaves the 5-pin, and he'll need to pick it up before falling too much further behind, because this is the kind of house, if you're that type of bowler who can put strikes together, you can put a big score up on the board. And right now Mike Trepanier is on that kind of roll. Well, Roy missed a single earlier, comes back, picks this one up. You can see 2 bowlers, 6 strikes already in our first 5 frames.
The key for Roy is not to concern himself with what Mike is doing. Just relax, like he told me. That's so important. Just relax.
There's a strike right back. Keeping our scorekeeper, Teresa Belniak, very busy. Gonna wear out her pencil. Here's Mike Trepanier working on a 4-bagger. Missed it. Just missed the head pin.
Fortunately, just enough, leaving himself a relatively easy spare. 3 in the line, 1, 2, 4. Ideally between the 1 and 2. Place the ball.
Ooh. A little too full on the head pin. He'll be open after the 4-bagger, giving him possible 127. No, let's see, 124. I'm sorry, couldn't read that. He misses, gets one of the 2, so 123 for Mike Trepanier after 6. There you see how the score works. Roy Kochevsky with a 98 plus, so trailing in the match by 30-odd pins, and there he comes right back.
Mike is still on that 200 pace. Of course, he needs another strike.
Well,
some marks right on out to keep it at the 200 pace.
Now here's Roy Kochevsky working on a strike in the 6th.
He could use another one, I guarantee you that, because his opponent is bowling super.
Oh. Caught a break there. Missed it. Picked it.
Picked it clean. Was right on it. Unfortunately, too full.
He's got an open frame, count of 10, 117. So it's 133 plus to 117, 16 pin plus advantage for Mike Trepanier. And Roy will move over and bowl lane 61 in the 8th frame.
Can be be made in or out, as we say it. Slap it off the left sideboard or between the 2-4 and laying the 2-pin over to drop the 3 clean. Try to slap it off the left sideboard.
Well, not 2 frames that Roy is going to enjoy looking back at. 2 opens. He picks up the full 10 in both. Got 127 after 8. And here's Mike Trepanier to bowl 8 and 9.
He would just like to get 3 pins right now.
Still on a count.
Still on the count ball. This is a count ball.
Oof. So he will count 6 on that strike. 139 rather after 7, so a 22-pin lead. And he'll finish up here.
7 out.
So 146, 127, a 19-pin advantage for Mike Trepanier.
Comfortable lead, however, it can evaporate, so he will go on the offense.
Well, he came right back. Did that before. Missed the spare, came back with a strike, did it again.
Well, if we're going to have our 200 game, he's certainly going to need 2 more strikes for us.
Yeah. Seen a bunch of strikes here in this match. Roy Kochevsky, if he wants to get back in this one, he's going to have to throw him right here.
Go down.
He's got one.
All right. They hurt us.
We've had more strikes in this match than we have in the last 2 weeks.
6 strikes for Mike. 4 strikes and still a box for both of them. But Roy has 4 strikes. 6 strikes usually beats 4 strikes.
Well, both bowlers enter the 10th and final frame working on a strike in the 9th.
Took a re-rack.
Yep.
We're allowed 1.
And so Roy will be up.
Must strike. The way I see it, must strike to stay in this match. Have a chance at all. Does he like it? Yes, he likes it. Oh, he knew it was there.
Just didn't get the break.
Put it right there. That's his best pocket going into the 1-2. Pretty stroke.
Yep, he's got the spare. We'll have 1 more ball in the 10th frame.
157 and another ball. 157 and counting. Super bowl. Watch this delivery, ladies and gentlemen. Reaches straight through the pitch, right out in front of him. Good 8.
Gets 8. Nice game. 165 for Roy Kochevsky Jr.
Well, Mike, if we're going to get one, we need 2 strikes.
Well, let's see. I guess the first thing that Mike Trepanier is thinking about is trying to win the match.
He's in very good shape for that. That's a win, and we won't get our 200, but it would be a super game.
Now he made our baby split. Yep. Picked up the baby split from spare in the 10th. Got 176 plus this ball.
Not too shabby.
Fine match between Roy Kochevsky Jr. and Mike Trepanier, 2 Connecticut bowlers. And that's it. 179, 165 for Mike Trepanier. He will join us next week as we continue to look for a winner in this Greenway Bowl Miller Lite Classic. And we'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Here's your Baltimore Ford man with a stunning offer on the limited edition Ford Ranger XLT. Get $1,000 cash back, plus air conditioning, AM/FM stereo cassette, power steering, and more for a total price of just $91.80.
Back to Duckpin Magic and the Greenway Bowl East. Well, Mike Trepanier, the winner of that fine match in the last game, will go on to face John Owens in our match coming up next week. They'll be joined by Kurt Johnson and Peter Pierce as we continue to look for a champion in the DPBA tournament at the Greenway Bowl Miller Lite Classic. More on Duckpin Magic next week. Join me there.
It's a tough job when an undercover assignment requires Richard Grieco to pose as a ski instructor on Booker. Tomorrow night at 10 on Fox 45. Now stay tuned for War of the Worlds.
Duckpin Magic is brought to you by Columbia Kitchen and Bath. Superior work at competitive prices.